Hello, can you hear me, guys?
Hello?
Hello.
Yes,
Yeah.
I can hear you.
Can you put mute yourself? Okay.
You can
Hey,
hear
hi,
me?
guys. Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, okay.
You have any questions? You raise your hand. Okay, good. So, okay, what is it? Okay, the last class, what we discussed, guys. So anyone new, guys, today? Anyone new, guys, today? Okay, that's fine. Okay, just we done only 3 classes. Okay, and just recap the session. Okay, just we'll see what we covered all 3 sessions before. Okay. Before going to the testing, can anyone tell me what is testing, guys? Can anyone? What is testing? For what reason we are doing the testing? Can anyone? So for what purpose we are doing the testing? Anyone?
For quality purposes.
Yes, quality purpose. Good. So see, most of the people are say that the testing is for finding the defects. No, it's not finding the defects, guys. Testing is done for purely for quality. So quality is one of the most important one. Okay. So in case in interview they will ask you for what purpose we are doing the testing means don't say that finding the defects. You need to say that for the quality purpose. Okay. How can you define the quality? How can you say you are getting a quality product? Can anyone? How can?
Justification of all the requirements of a
Yes, correct.
customer.
Yes, correct. So how can you say you are getting a quality product? This is also one of the most important one, right? How can you say you are getting a quality product? Suppose justification of all the requirements. They will provide the requirements. You need to fulfill all the requirements. Okay, you covered requirement 1. Okay, you covered requirement 2. Okay, you covered requirement 3. So definitely what you will get the quality product, no doubt at all. Okay, so how can you define the quality? How can you define the quality? The quality is define the justification of what? All the requirements of the customer application. What are the customer is given, right? All the requirements, we will fulfill all the requirements. Definitely, guys, you will get what? A quality product, no doubt at all. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. And what is the difference between manual testing and automation testing? Anybody? What is the differences? What is the main difference? What is the meaning of manual testing and what is the automation testing? Can anyone? What is automation testing and what is manual testing? Can
In
anyone?
manual testing, we execute all the test cases without using any kind of tools. But in automation testing, we execute all the test cases by the help of some tools.
Mm, yes,
And in
correct.
manual testing, we don't use any kind of programming language. But in automation testing, there is need to use of programming language.
Yes, correct. So this is one of the most important, guys. Most of the people will confuse what is manual testing and what is automation testing. So this is one of the most important. See, manual testing means you need not required any programming knowledge or any
Okay.
scripting knowledge is not required. Okay, not at all. You not required any programming knowledge. See, now I want to go with manual testing. So if I want to do the manual testing means I'm not using any scripting and I'm not using any programming knowledge. Okay. See, simply I'm entering what URL. Okay. I'm just entering the URL myself. I'm clicking enter. See, each and everything is done from my end. Okay. So this type of testing, we can call it as what? A manual testing. This kind of testing, we can call it as what? A manual testing. So what about automation testing? Automation testing means what? You need to write some script. Okay, you need to write some script and you need to execute that script. Means automatically the browser will launch and the browser, it will click automatically all the links and buttons. That kind of testing we can call it as what? Automation. Okay, so this is one of the most important one. Manual testing means what? We are not writing any script or we are not using any programming. Okay, so such kind of things we can call it as what? Manual testing. Whereas when you're talking about automation means you need to use some scripting language or you need to use some coding language like Java, Python, Ruby. Some programming knowledge is required. Okay, is it clear, right? Okay. Now, what is positive testing and what is negative testing? What is positive testing and what is negative testing?
Positive testing is it'll give you valid result, whereas negative testing gives you invalid.
Yes, correct. Excellent. So generally, see, while you are doing the testing, we need to do the both things like a positive testing and negative testing. What is negative testing? People get confused here. What is negative testing? See, generally I will give what positive means valid data. Valid data is comes on where positive testing. Now I'm giving what valid data. So valid username, valid password. If I click login, what will happen? The login should work, right? So if I click login, what will happen? The login should work. See, the login is working. I'm able to see the dashboard page. So this kind of testing, we can call it as what? Positive testing. What about negative testing? Negative testing means what? What is the meaning of negative testing? You need to provide what? Invalid data. I'm providing what? Invalid data. In this case, login should not work. Okay, if login is working means that is a defect. So if I click login, if I click the login, it should not allow to login because it's what I given what invalid data. So you when you provide the invalid username, invalid password, it should not allow. Okay, so this kind of testing we can call it as what? Negative testing. So as a tester, you need to do both kind of testing. What are there? Positive testing and negative testing is also you need to do, because sometimes end user might be give mistake, okay, but might be give some wrong data. In that case, your application should not allow to log in. If in case your application is allowed to log in means that is a bug. Okay, is it clear? So positive testing and negative testing. Okay, so that testing also will do. Okay, so what is advantages of testing? We know, right? The quality product. So for what reason we are doing the testing for a quality product? If quality is good, client satisfaction will be there. If client is happy, we'll get more business. And finally, we can say that it's a bug-free product. Guys, can you tell me, can we do 100% of testing? Is it possible? Yes
No,
or no?
sir.
No,
No.
it's not. No, right?
No.
No, yes, correct. No one cannot do 100% of testing, guys. It's not at all possible. But we can assure, we can give the trust to the client. Hey, don't worry. We already tested your application. We already verify your application. We find a lot of defects. We already verify. We already tested, and we are certified that build. Then only that bill will go to the market. But we cannot tell to the client, hey, you will not get a single defect after the release. We cannot tell like that to the client because we don't know what issues will come on the production side. Like might be it's an environmental issues, might be some user related issues, some kind of issues will come. Okay, but we cannot say it's 100% testing is done. We can say it's a bug-free product. We can proudly we can say that it's a bug-free product because we already tested, because we already verified. So we can say it's a bug-free product. Okay, but we cannot do 100% testing. It's not at all possible. Okay, and testing qualities. Okay, what is the testing qualities, guys? No compromise on the quality. So this is one of the most important one. If you're compromising on the quality, see, you will not get the quality product. Compromise means what? You saw the defect, but you are not telling to anybody. You are not telling, you are not reported to the developer. So in that case, what will happen? So you compromise the things, right? You are saw the defect, but you are not reporting. Okay. In that case, what will happen? You will not get a quality product. We will not get the quality product. So while you are testing, make sure that while you are testing, make sure that you need to you never compromise. Okay. If you compromise, there is some spelling mistake. You need to report immediately. You need to report immediately. Okay. So you need not wait for someone. Okay. If suppose you saw there is some spelling mistake, immediately you need to report. Okay. So this is one of the most important one. And one more important is for the 100% interview question. What are the testing types? Okay, what are the testing types? There are two types. One is what? Structural testing. Another is what? Functional testing. This is one of the most important one. What is structural and what is functional? Okay, who will do the structural testing and who will do the functional testing? See, just now we learn what is testing. Testing is nothing but what? Check whether your application is working according to the client requirements or not. Okay, so in the testing, it's very easy. They will provide what? Requirements. Based on the requirements, you need to test your application is working as per the given requirements or not. You need to test. Okay, so that's one of the most important one. Now what we are learning, there are two types of testing. One is structural, another is what? Functional. So what is structural? Structural testing means what? We can call it as it's a white box testing. And what is functional? The functional testing, we can call it as what? Black box testing. Let's see who will do the structural testing and who will do the black box testing. See, who will do the white box testing? Anybody have idea? We already covered, right? Who will do the white box testing, guys?
The developer.
Developer.
Yes, developer need to do what? White box testing. Now you got a question mark. Why developer need to do the testing? Is it required? Why developer need to do the testing? Is it required?
Yes,
Yes.
it is required.
Yes, it is required because see, whenever the developer written any code, right, at least one time he or she need to check at least my code is working properly or not before they sending to the QA. Understanding, right? So developer is also doing one kind of testing. That testing we can call it as what? Structural testing. That testing we can call it as what? A white box testing. Why we can call it as it's a white box? Because the developer is able to see the code. See, developer is always able to see the code. I'm able to see the code. So that's the reason we can call it as it's a white box. Okay. The test based on the knowledge of internal logic of application code is also known as glass box testing. So the developer is always do one kind of testing. That testing we can call it as what? A structural or a white box testing. Understanding, right? If you know the code, if you know the code, if you know the logic, if you know the implementation, then what kind of testing you can go? You can go with the white box testing. But generally we don't know the coding, right? So that's the reason we never involved in the white box testing. So simply you can understand the white box testing is done by the developer. Understanding, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Okay, that's good. So these all are very, very important, guys. So yeah, so this white box testing this white box testing we can call it as what? Unit testing or a component testing. So unit testing is also we can call it as what? White box testing. Okay, and we can say that it's a component testing. or belongings to what? White box testing. So please remember, white box testing is always done by the developers. Okay. And coming to the black box testing, who will do the black box testing? So the black box testing is done by testing team. See, so that's the reason they will never ask you, you know Java, you know Python, so not required. Okay. So okay, so this is one of the most important ones. See here, we never see the code. Okay, so that's the reason we can call it as what? We can call it as what? It's a black box. Okay, black box testing. Okay, so one of the most important ones. So we never ask the code. Then how you will test that application? Can anyone tell me how you will test? See, I'm able to test Amazon application. I'm able to test any kind of application. How I'm able to test without knowing of knowledge of coding and all the things? How I'm able to test?
Based on the client requirements.
Absolutely good. See, we always depends on what requirements and functionality. So that's the reason they won't ask any programming knowledge in the interview for the manual testers. Okay, programming knowledge is zero is also fine. If you don't know any programming knowledge, okay, you can go with what? Black box testing. You can go with what? Black box testing. Understanding, right? So we are what? We are the black box testing. So we are the black box testers. Okay. So programming knowledge is not required for us, but what you need to understand, required. If you are not able to understand the requirements, you will fail in the doing in the testing. So first of all, whenever any task is assigned on your name, what you need to do? You need to understand the requirements. Okay. Okay, first you need to understand the requirements. Okay, if you are not understand the requirements, you cannot test any kind of application. First of all, not concentrate on defects. First of all, you need to concentrate on where? Requirements. What are the requirements is given? First of all, you need to check the requirements. Understanding the requirements, then you need to start the testing. Requirements are very important here. Understanding, right? For the testing team, requirements are very important. We always depends on what? Requirements and functionality. Other than unit testing, other than unit testing, the belongings to what? Black box testing. So unit testing means the developer, I told you, right? Developer will do the unit testing. So testing team is always do the functional testing. So we always called as they call it as what? A functional testers. Okay. Internal system design is not considered in this type of testing, not required any programming knowledge. Okay. The tests are based on what? Requirements and functionality. We always depends on what? Requirements and functionality. Other than unit testing, remaining the testing belongings to what? Black box testing. So this is one of the most important. The testing are two types. One is structural testing, another is what? Functional testing. So structural testing done always by the developer, and functional testing is always done by the QA. So what is, again, we also some follow some techniques. Okay, what is that? Boundary value analysis, what is called BVA. What is called BVA? Boundary value analysis. Okay, sometimes we need to follow the requirements, right? So
Value
some
analysis is the minimum
yes.
testing
Hmm.
-1, and then the maximum
Correct.
+1.
Yes, correct. See, yes, excellent, correct. So I told you, right, the requirement is what? This is what requirement. Now I need to enter my username between this one, like 5 to 16 characters. Okay, the 5 to 16 characters only it will allow. So what I need to do here? Okay, I cannot go with 6 letters, 7 letters, 8 letters. I cannot go with like that, right? Now I want to test this one. Okay, now I want to test this one. So here I can use what? BVA. What is called BVA, boundary value analysis. Okay, so here what you can do is simply you can take what? The value of minimum value. What is the minimum value is what? 5. And what is the range? What is the range is what? 5 to 16. Okay, 5 to 16, right? So what is the maximum value here? Okay, what is the maximum value here? The maximum value is what? 16. So what I can do is 16. What I can do is simple logic. You can go with what? Minimum value minus 1. Okay, minimum value minus 1 means 5 minus 1 means how much? 4, right? If I enter the 4 characters here, if I enter the 4 characters here, so valid or invalid? This one. Can anyone tell me? A. So this is valid or invalid? What is this one? This is valid data or invalid data?
Invalid.
Okay.
Invalid.
Yes, it is invalid, right? Because what is our requirement? 5 to 16. So you need to take one more one, right? One more character, right? So this is what valid one. So here what you can do is minimum value minus 1, 4. You need to enter the 4 characters here. Now you can try to log in. It should not allow. In case it is allowing means it is a bug, right? So what is that maximum value? 16 plus 1, right? 16 plus 1 means 17. So if you enter the 17 characters here, okay, if you enter the 17 characters here, okay, it should not allow. In case it is allowing means that is the bug. So we need to test these kind of things by using of BVA. BVA is nothing but what? Boundary value analysis. Boundary values analysis are very, very important, guys. This is one of the most important one. Okay, boundary value analysis. Okay, minimum value minus 1 and maximum value plus 1. Okay, so whenever any requirements will come, a phone number, say the phone number, you can test with the phone number. The phone number is also we need to test BVA. How? The phone number is requirement is what? 10-digit number. Okay, 10-digit number. The phone number is requirement is what? A 10-digit number. So how you will test? Simple, guys. Minimum value is what? Here 10 minus 1. Do one thing like 10 minus 1. Okay, 9 it should not allow. So the phone number in India, it should be a 10-digit number. So it's an invalid number. Here now I'm going with the 10 plus 1. What I'm going to 10 plus 1. So 11 characters should not allow. So if I enter the 11 digit, it should not allow. So whenever any fields will be there, so the
Can it
requirement,
also be, I'm
yeah,
sorry, can it
yeah, go
also
ahead.
be called negative and
Yeah,
positive
yes, we can call.
testing?
Yeah, we can call
Okay.
because that's correct. That's correct, right? Because we are giving what invalid. Invalid data is called. We can
Right.
call it as what negative testing, right? Yes, we can call. Okay. Yeah, that's correct. So that's the reason in BBA, see in the real time we not do all the things. Okay, no one will tell you do the BBA testing, do this kind of testing. Simply you need to understand the requirement. Based on the requirements, you need to start your testing. Suppose the username is what? It's very clearly mentioned 5 to 16 characters, right? So you need to test 4 characters. This is what negative testing. It should not allow. Now you are giving 5 characters. Now it should allow. That is what comes on the positive testing. Yes, you can say like positive testing and negative testing also. Okay. So one of the most important is what BVA. Okay. If you observe this diagram, what is the difference between the black box and white box testing? So if you observe the black box testing, we don't know what output will come. Okay. Then how you confirm what? How you confirm your output is getting correct or not? Can anyone tell me? You are giving input. You don't know what process is going on, but you find some output. This output is correct or not? How you will define? How can you say your output is getting correctly? Can anyone? How can you say you are getting correct output?
By following the SRS document.
Absolutely good. So we always follow what documents, right? Requirement document. Okay. If you see, I'm giving what input. I don't know what output I'm getting. Now you got some output, right? That output is correct or not? How you define? Based on requirements. Just go with the requirements. In the requirements, it's very clearly mentioned what is your output. So no need to worry. Simply you need to check whether you are getting what a proper output or not. You need to check. Okay. In the requirements, it's very clearly there will mention what is your output. Okay, so that's the reason testing is very easy. When it is easy, if you are understand the requirements clearly, if you know the functionality, then your testing is very very easy, very easy. Okay, anyone can do the testing when if you understand the requirement. See, the branch name, you need to enter the branch name. Here it's very clearly mentioned, alpha numerical only, start with what, alphabetic, minimum value is what, 6 characters, maximum is what, 40 characters, and it's a mandatory. Mandatory means what? Can anyone tell me what is mandatory? Mandatory means compulsory. You need to enter the field.
Blank space should not be allowed.
Yes, you need to enter compulsory. That field should not be empty. Okay, mandatory means compulsory. You need to enter that field, and it is a unique one. Okay, unique one. Unique one means what? It should be a unique one. It should not be a duplicate. Duplicate means what? Repeatedly you are adding the same name with the twice. It should not allow. Okay. So this all we need to test, guys. While you are doing the testing, first of all, I told you, right, you need to understand the requirements. If you are not understand the requirements, you cannot test your application. So the requirements are very important. First of all, you need to understand the requirements. Is it clear?
Yeah.
Yeah, good. Okay. So we are the black box testers, guys. We can test any kind of application. You can test with artificial intelligence also. How you will test? Based on the requirement. You can test the SAP applications also. How can you test? Based on the requirements. You can test Python applications, you can test Java applications, you can test ASP.NET application. So you can test any kind of application. Simply you need to understand the two things. One is what, requirements and functionality. If you understand the both things, you can test any kind of application. Here one more point. So programming knowledge is not required, guys, for manual testers who are going with manual testing, right? Programming knowledge is not required. Implementation knowledge means logic and all the things, it's not required. Okay, for the black box testers, suppose you want to go for a development side, programming knowledge is required. Okay, implementation knowledge is required. Okay, so this is all very important. And one more thing is what, it's 100% interview question. What is SDLC? What is called SDLC, guys? The SDLC is nothing but what? Software Development Life Cycle. For what purpose we are doing the testing? Quality. So every organization, they follow what? SDLC process. What is called SDLC? SDLC is nothing but what? Software Development Life Cycle. Okay, this is one of the most important ones. The SDLC is the process followed for the software projects within a software organization. Every organization, they follow what? SDLC process. Let's see what is SDLC. It consists of detailed plan describing how to develop the project. So see, when the project will come, right, they won't go directly testing, they won't go directly to the coding. First of all, when the project will come, right, they will check how to develop this project, how to maintain this project, how to replace means any changes will come, how to change the how to change the requirements. Okay, or enhancements means newly added things. Okay, we want added a new features, so that all will call it as what? Enhancements. Okay, so in SDLC, these all will be there. Okay, these all will be there. Okay, let's see what are the SDLC phases. Whenever the project will come, right, the first phase is what? Not testing, not coding. The first phase is what? Requirement capturing. First, when we started any project, suppose we are started any project, first thing what we need to do, we need to get the requirements. First we need to collect the requirements. Once we got the requirements, what we need to do? We need to go for analysis. Analysis means what? Whether we can do or not. So that's one of the most important one, right? We cannot do all the things. It's not possible. There are a lot of challenges will be there. Lot of things will be there. We need to overcome all the things and we need to achieve the things. Understanding, right? So once the project will come, first of all, you need to go with all the requirements. So once we get the requirements is finalized, then we need to go with what analysis part. Once the analysis part is done, then we can go for a design part. Once the design part is done, once the design is completed, then what we need to do, then once the design is done, then developer is involved. In developer is involved in where? In coding part. Understanding, right? Once completely the coding is done, then we are involved. When we are involved, guys? In testing. So we are involving where? In testing part. Okay, so you need to remember this one. Okay, when the project will come, we will not involve all these areas. We involved in where? In the testing phase. Okay, so when the testing phase will come after coding, so requirement capturing, analysis, designing, coding. Once the code is done, then testing team is involved. So once the testing is done, what we need to do? Once the completely the testing is done, then what we need to do? We need to go for implementation. Once the implementation is done, then what we need to do? We need to go with what? A support and maintenance. So this process will be followed all the organizations. Every organization they follow what? SDLC process. So that's the reason in interview they will ask you this question. Can you define what is SDLC and what are the phases in SDLC? So you need to answer that: requirement capturing, analysis, designing, coding, testing, and implementation, and support and maintenance. Okay, so this all are what? Very important, guys. So first of all, you need to understand where I need to work. Okay, so before, without coding, how you will work? Without requirements, how you will work? Without design, how you will work? Without analysis, how you will work? So while you are doing the testing, the code should be completed, the task should be completed. Whenever the task is completed, the task is assigned on your name, and immediately you need to start testing. So this is the process. You cannot break this process. Okay. So first of all, in SDLC, the first phase is what? Requirement capturing. Once the requirement is done, then they will go with analysis. Once the analysis part is done, then they will go for a design part. Once the design part is done, then they will go with what? Coding. Once the coding is done, then you are involved. Testing team is involved. Once the testing is done, then they will go with what? Implementation. Once the implementation is done, then they will go with what? Support and maintenance. So
Sir,
this, yeah, go ahead.
sorry, I have small doubt that
Yeah,
will testers involve in all the phases of SDLC, or there is
only
some limitation?
there are some limitations, because see, requirement capturing we are not involved. Okay, it's already done by your project manager and all the things. Okay, analysis also they will check. Okay, so designers also they will check. Okay, coding the developer will take care of that. As a tester, what you need to go, we need to check with your requirements. Okay, what are the requirements they provide, right? You need to follow with that requirement. While you're testing the requirements, right, you have any concerns and queries, right, you can clarify in that call itself. Okay, when we have the meeting will be there, in the meeting itself you can clarify your all questions and all the things, because we will get lot of questions, whether it is correct or not, whether we are following the correct documents or not. So we can see, generally in the real time they will assign what? A story on your name. The story is assigned to the developer, the same story is assigned to the QA. Once the story is completed by the development team, right, then they will assign the same story onto the testing. So while you are doing the testing, right, you have any concerns, queries or anything, then you need to clarify with the team. Okay, but you're not involved in all these areas. Design also you're not involved, coding also not involved, analysis also you're not involved, requirement capturing also you're not involved. You will involve mainly on where? In testing. Is it clear?
Okay, sir. And when there are different kinds of documents are there, like BRS, FRS, SRS. Does tester need to go through these all documents or any particular exact document that to write some like test cases or test scenarios?
So FRS is one of the most important one. FRS means what? Functional requirement specification document. See, it's a good question. See, now this is what FRS document. Okay, you need not go with BRS and SRS. Okay, you need to go with what? Functional requirements. What is the functionality? I told you, right? We don't know the code. Then how you will test this one? So they will tell you username is there. It's a mandatory, compulsory. You need to enter. Password will be there. You need to compulsory. You need to enter that will. So if you give the blank, okay, invalid, then what message should come? Enter the valid username. So these all the requirement specification documents. They will give you each and everything. Just you need to follow the FRS document. FRS document is nothing but what? A functional requirement specification document. Okay, is it clear?
Yeah.
Do we need to go to along with FRS with SRS also?
No, not required. Can I tell you one thing? See, in the real time, it's not there. Okay, in the real time, they will give you what KT. What is called KT?
Knowledge transfer.
Yes, knowledge transfer. When you get an opportunity to work in that organization, right, they will provide KT sessions. KT session means your colleague will be explain you entire the application, how it will work. In case your lead will ask you to refer some documents, you can go with thoroughly with that documents means you need to go with the documents. Okay, everything they will tell you, everything they will provide all the documents. Just you need to check your application or your product or your sub component is working as per the given requirements or not. You need to test. They will provide
Okay,
all the
okay,
things.
sir.
Okay, don't worry. Okay, but you need to understand the requirements. What is the requirements? Okay, how logging will work. You need to understand the functionality. The functionality is also one of the most important one. Okay,
Okay, sir. Got it. Got it.
okay, good. I will tell you, I will give you more examples how we need to test with the tasks and all the things I will tell you. But this is one of the most important one. When the project will start, right, they will start with what requirements. Once the requirements is done, then they will go for analysis, whether we can do or not. See, the project is, first of all, analysis is very, very important. Whether we can do or not. I got a project, but resources is not there. Then development team is there, not there, QA team is not there, then we cannot do that project, right? So analysis means it will comes all the resources, metrics, each and everything will comes on analysis part. Once the analysis part is done, yes, we can do this project, and we have a sufficient resources will be there. Okay, then they will go with the design part. Designers will involve in the design part. Once the design is done, then they will start what? Coding. Who will do the coding? You know, right? The development team take care of the coding. Once the coding is completed, then they will start work testing. Once the testing is completed, now you can say that my testing is completed, it is working as expected. From your status, from your status you are saying that it is working as expected, then only we can go for the implementation. Once the implementation is done, then we will go with what? Support and maintenance. So this is what, that's the reason definitely they will ask you what is SDLC in the interview. Definitely they will ask you this question. Okay, is it clear, right? So this is one of the most important one. Yeah, last class we discussed, right, this one, how project will comes, what exactly the developer will do, what tester will do. So this is one of the most important one, guys. When the project will comes, right, then they will conduct, the IT company will conduct one of the meeting. That meeting we can call it as what? A kickoff meeting. That is what? The first meeting. In the first meeting, they identify what? Project manager. The project manager is one of the most important person in the project. Okay, the project manager will prepare one document. What is that document name? PMP. What is called PMP? Project management plan. How we need to execute this project, how we need to monitor this project. So each and everything taken care by whom? Your project manager. So the project manager will have some plan. Without plan, we cannot do anything, right? So the project manager will prepare the PMP document. And what is BRS? Okay, what is called BRS? What is called BRS? BRS is nothing but what? Business requirement specification document. So the business analyst will collect all the information from the client. Okay, what is the requirement? What is the client expectations? What client is looking? So each and everything will be taken care by whom? Your business analyst. So the business analyst is also one of the major role. Understanding, right? The developer will not directly talk with the customer. That tester will not directly to talk with the customer. In between the organization and the client, one person will be there. That person we can call it as what? Business analyst. We can call it as what? Business analyst. Understanding, right? So the business analyst is one of the most important person. Okay, he will take all the information. He will take all the information and he will take care of all the informations, understanding, right? And that information will pass to the entire the organization. Okay, so BRS, you can also become a BRS if you have a good communication skills. If you have a domain knowledge, you can also become a BRS. Okay, business analyst you can also. Okay, now SRS, what are the content will be there in the BRS, right? That content will be converted into SRS. SRS is nothing but what? Software requirement specification document. See, now what developer will do and what tester will do, these two are very very important. What developer will do, you know, right? What developer do, guys?
Sir,
Yeah, go
sir,
ahead.
in previous page, there is a SOW.
Sign
Can
statement
you
of work
explain it,
order.
sir?
Yeah, SOW is nothing but what? A signed statement of work order. Now you are my client, right? Now you and organization, they want to go with agreement. Agreement means what? Terms and conditions, right? Now, so they will go with what? SOW. SOW is nothing but what? A signed statement of work order. Understanding, right? In between the client and organization, they need have some agreement. Without agreement we cannot do the things, right? Because I'd say that delivery will be in within 1 year, but I'm not delivered within 1 year. I'm taking too much long time. So I invest money, right? But you are not delivering with the product, then what will happen? We will completely lost, right? So every project there some have some agreement will be there from between the client and organization. So the organization and the client, they will go with what? Agreement. Agreement is nothing but what? They will put the sign. Yes, I agree with your proposal. Okay, we are ready. Okay, we are the ready with to do that project. Then they will go with what? SOW. SOW is nothing but what? A signed statement of work order. Work order. Mainly we can say that it's a work order. Is it clear?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. So we never involve, don't worry in this. Okay, we involve only testing. Yeah, now see in SRS, if you observe that, what developer will do, everyone knows, right? What developer will do? See, generally we can call it as what dev means, dev, okay, developer. So what developer job? So developer will go through the requirements and designs. Based on the design, they start writing what? They start writing the coding. Okay, they start writing the code. Once code is done, what they will do? Code review. Review means what? The senior person will review the code. If the code is fine, then what kind of testing he will do? Unit level testing means white box testing. Unit level testing is done by developer. So if you observe that every time the developer job is the same, he will go through the requirements, designs, requirements and designs, and based on the requirements and designs, the developer will build the code. This is what code. Okay, they will write some code. Okay, once the code is done, then they will go with what? Code review. Once code review is done, then they will do what? Yeah, unit level testing. Here the developer job is done. And what about QA? What QA needs to do, guys? See, you are a QA guy. So what is your job? What is your job? You need to test this one. You need to test this one. Now suppose a developer is implemented home page. Okay, now this home page you need to test. So how you will test? You will not directly sit with the developer and you cannot test, right? This is not a good way, right? You cannot sit with the developer, you cannot say test in the developer laptop. It's not the good thing, right? So what they will do, they will push the code. They will push the code into where? Into the server. Okay, this is what we can call it as what? Server. Okay, this server, what they will do, the developer will push the code into where? Into the server. Okay, generally they will call it as what? Check-in means what? The code they will check in into the one server. Okay, environment. Okay, they will provide into one server. Now where is the code? The code in where? In the server. Okay, see, this is what raw code. Raw code means what? Int a equals to 0, int b equals to, like that, right? We don't know what is this exactly, right? Int I equals to 20, whatever it may be. Okay, 2. So this code we don't know, right? So what they will do, this code they're converted in the form of what? Build. So one of the most important one, guys, this code we cannot understand, right? So what they will do, they will converted this one as into in the build format. Okay, so once the build we got, right, this build, okay, this build will assign to whom? To the QA. Now QA will not see the code. The QA will got what? URL means domain name. So you will always get what? Domain name, abc.com. So whenever you open this URL, right, when what you need to check? You need to check home page is there or not. You need to check. Now when you click the URL, right, what you will get? Home page. If home page is there, means what you need to check? Yes, it is working as expected, because this code is implemented by what? Developer. This code is converted in the form of what? A build. This build will assign to whom? To the QA. Whenever the QA is open to the URL, we will not see the code. That is what I told you, right? We are the black box testers. We never see the code. So we will get one URL. On the build, you will get one URL. When you open this URL, right, what you need to check? Whether you are getting the home page or not, you need to check. Suppose you are not getting the home page, you are getting some other different page. Then what you can say that this is what? Bug. So this bug is assigned to whom? Again, to the developer. So developer, what they will do? Again, they will rewrite the code. They modify the code, and they will not send the same build. They will send what? Another build. Okay. Once they fix it, right, another build will be there. Once they fix it, that code, and this code will push into where? Into this build. Again, this build is assigned to whom? To the QA. This build is assigned to whom? Again, the QA. QA will get what? URL. You will get what? URL, right? Simply you need to open abc.com. Check now you are getting home page or not. Suppose you are not getting home page, you are getting some different page, means that is a bug. Now you are able to see the home page. Means it is working as expected. So coding is done, testing is done. So we can close this task. So this is one of the most important one. You need to understand how development will be going, how QA will work. So QA will go with the test plan, test scenarios, test cases, and integration testing, system testing, user acceptance testing. This all we need to do. Okay, we will discuss tomorrow how we will do the QA and all the things. But in the real time, if you go with 1 year experience or 5 year of experience or 8 year of experience, the same thing will be there. Based on the requirements and design, the developer will go with coding. Once the coding is done, they will push the coding to the server, and it will convert it into the build format. This build will be assigned to the QA. When the build will come, you need to check whether you are getting exactly as per the given requirements or not, whether you are getting correct output or not, you need to check. Okay, so this is what how developer will do and what tester will do. Okay, so the next class we'll see the more about on this. Then we can go with what the testing techniques. Okay, we'll go with what the testing techniques. Okay, static and dynamic. Okay, Anything else we need to discuss, guys? Anybody have any questions, concerns? Are you able to understand?
Yes, clear.
It's a good. So we'll see tomorrow, like what techniques we follow. Then we can go with each and everything. What is unit testing? What is integration testing? What is system testing? So we can go deep on these areas. Okay. So what we need to exactly we need to test. We'll see all the things. Okay.
Sir, my question is, until we get the soft material from the organization, can we get the screenshot from the class?
Yeah, you will get. You can talk with that. You can talk with the front office, right? They will provide all the documents, okay, materials and all the things. You can get the videos also.
Sir,
Sir,
is there any time limit, sir? Like after 15 days they will provide us, or after
No,
three
no, no.
days they provide
No, no.
us?
Every day, the end of the session, right? Might be they will take 1 or 2 hours. After that, they will upload the class immediately. There is no time limit. Immediately they
Okay,
will
sir.
upload. Max 1 or 2 hours. Yeah, you are asking something. Anybody have any questions?
yes, sir.
Yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
Sir, in actually the developer will do the you said that white box testing.
Yes. Here they will
Uh,
do.
uh,
They will test.
yeah, do tester will test the feature also only? Do they test only coding or will they test the features along with that?
Who? Oh, developer or tester?
Developers or developer.
Developer is only test whether my code is working properly or not. But as a QA, what you need to do, I told you, right? You need to check positive testing, you need to check negative testing, you need to check all the scenarios. Developer
Okay,
will
my
check.
question is even they don't look at the features at least like after writing coding.
No,
They
no,
just
they will check the feature also, right? Without functionality, they won't pass to the QA, right? At least they need to check one time whether my code is working properly or not. They won't, without testing the future, they won't send to the QA, right? That is what I
okay.
told you, right? By mistakenly, the home page is not working. This guy is not do the unit testing. Simply, he will push to the build. Immediately, QA finds that one, right? So to avoid this kind of thing, that's the reason we do the what white box testing. So that's the
And will there be any another build for testing developers separately?
yeah, they will have some. See, actually, yeah. In the real time, there are three environments will be there. Like this is what dev environment, this is what QA environment, and one more environment will be there. That is what production environment. Production means what? Live data. So we never and ever test with the live data. So this is what live customers. We never test with the live customers. So the dev is always tester. They where they will do unit testing and all the things in dev environment. Where QA will do, the QA will do in the QA environment. Understanding, right?
Yeah, got it.
They will provide that environments, okay? So don't worry. They will provide all the server setup and build setup, and they will do all the things. But as a tester, what you need to do, you need to check this code, this implementation, this home page is you are able to see or not. You need to check. Suppose you are not able to see the home page, you are seeing that some different page, then it's a bug. Understanding, right?
Yeah, got it, sir. Got it.
Then you need to reject that one. Okay, good. We will discuss all the things. Okay, don't worry. We will discuss more on this. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Uh,
Sir,
okay.
can we get any mail to ask any any queries that your
Uh,
personal mail can?
sure. I will share my email ID tomorrow. You can share it. Okay. You have any questions.
Okay, okay, sir. Thanks.
Oh, okay, guys. Thanks for your time. Have a nice day. We'll see you on tomorrow. Thanks for your time. We'll see you on tomorrow. Thank you, guys. Have a nice day.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.